Welcome back. Well, turning our attention to politics now. Ismail Ahmed joins us now. He is SSA to the President and also a member of the BOT of APC. Thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, yesterday when many thought they'll try and digest what had happened, and then it hit them again. The court extending the tenure of Mr. Giedom, and then people just thought, oh dear, not again. How is I guess it doesn't rain for the party now, it pours. This is a huge challenge at the moment, and the way it's playing out, I can't say you're surprised, are you?
No, I'm not surprised, Chamberlain. I am embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by the way the people that we have saddled with the responsibility of running a political party have messed it up to this level. This party this year is only 6 years in existence, and 5 of which we have been in government. Nigerians have done their own part. They have given us an overwhelming majority in all the tiers of government, from the federal level, National Assembly, to almost most of the state governments that we have won in 2015 and a repeat of it in 2019. But in 5 short years, or in 6 short years in its entirety, we the younger people who have contributed our sweat and our little time and resources that we have on our own side to help in building this party. And you would remember, this channel especially would remember the role that all of us as young people play, and that we are still playing. Some of our foot soldiers are still out there in the social media giving their own best part to build a structure that will outlast or outlive us. But yet we have saddled responsibility to people who are former this, former that, who have come and have bastardized this institution that was built with well-intentions and the sweat and hard resources of so many people that have come to the table to build this party in 5 short years. So no, I'm not surprised. I'm absolutely embarrassed with what is going on. And everybody now goes to court suing the party or being sued by the party on these issues, claiming the constitution of the party. And yet most of the solutions to our perennial problems are yet found in this constitution that is observed more in breach than in compliance. So I'm absolutely embarrassed. Now we have a problem in this country. The problem is a lethal combination of a health crisis and a security crisis. And yet, we have a political party that Nigerians have entrusted with the ability, with the responsibility to run the affairs. And yet we are focusing on who is doing what and what is doing this and who is going to court, who is the chairman of the party, who is this, who is that. We have all failed, myself included. You know, we have all failed. Even the younger people, we have come together. We want to speak with one voice. We're holding a press conference. We're going to write letters to all the caucuses of the party, be it at the National Assembly, the president, the vice president, national leaders of the party, NEC, Governors Forum, what have you. What we are going to say to them in no uncertain terms is that we have all failed and we need to make a change of course immediately. We have an 8-year mandate of the first tranche. We have 3 years to go. And yet we have a lethal combination of a security and a health crisis, and we're focusing on pettiness that is bringing down the structure that has brought us into government. It's an absolute embarrassment.
So you sound like you're disappointed in the whole leadership structure. For you, are you taking sides and saying, well, the challenge came from this person or this group of persons? How is it working for you? Are you disappointed across board or in specific, organs of the party?
I'm disappointed across board. And I said myself inclusive, I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the party, the Board of Trustees that has never been inaugurated. And yet, if you look into the constitution of the party, a lot of issues ought to have been ratified by the Board of Trustees. And yet, it has never been inaugurated. Yes, we have been appointed into those positions, but we have never been inaugurated. And look at, the party is supposed to have convention every 2 years. Shall, that's the operative word. Every 2 years, we are supposed to have a convention to ratify most of these issues. Have we done that? No. We are supposed to be having NEC meetings once in every quarter. Have we done that? We have had only NEC meetings twice in 2 years. So what are we doing, really? You know? So I'm not blaming this or that. The whole gamut of leadership of the party, we have failed. And we, the young people who are always playing supporters club. And I told them we had a meeting yesterday. We're going to have another meeting today. We're going to be having a lot of meetings with a lot of young people who are stakeholders who I have known have played a critical role in bringing this party as well, in playing their own role. We're all going to be having meetings throughout this weekend. We're going to meet our leaders and other stakeholders to tell them that, look, we cannot allow this to go on. So you cannot come because you have jumped the queue, because you are former this and former that. And then you try to destroy the structure that we have helped build together, because tomorrow you feel you can jump into another party and jump in front of the queue because you can claim you are former this, you are former that, or current this or current that. We do not have the latitude or the luxury of being former this or former that. But if you think that you can destroy this political structure and we will watch you, and you can jump to another ship tomorrow when you feel that you have destroyed this, and go and jump in front of the queue and get whatever you want, because to you it's just a vehicle, it's just a platform, then you are mistaken. We are here, we are going to salvage this party, and everybody is going to do it again, together. We are going to call on all the leadership of the party. NEC meetings must be called. We must address these issues. So I'm not disappointed in one person or two people. I'm disappointed in the whole gamut of leadership, and myself included.
You said a couple of times here, you said that you're disappointed in someone jumping the queue, or people jumping the queue. Who are you talking about specifically?
A lot of people. Everybody knows what happens. A lot of people jump the queue. So, for example, take Edo, for example. Everybody is shouting today that there's a problem between the Godwin Obaseki and the national chairman, Adams Oshomali. You know, I'm not from Edo, but I've heard from things, people will tell you that, you know, Obaseki was brought in from nowhere. He jumped the queue. He was given governorship. Now they have a problem. And then they brought in somebody that they just swapped from PDP who ran against us, you know, at the last election in PDP. And now, too, he's getting the ticket probably, or there's a consensus. He's also jumping the queue because he's what? Former this, former that. And then Obaseki now will go back to the other political party, maybe PDP or another political party, while there are other people that have labored for that party who also jump the queue because he's what? Because he's a current governor. And before you know it, the whole thing to them is just a platform to get what they want. Now, I don't have a problem. Everybody can go to wherever he wants because it's a constitutional right to realize his ambitions. But we built this party on an intention of an institutionalized structure to bring change to Nigerians. Nigerians have done their own part by voting us into office. We have not reciprocated in even building a lasting legacy, an institution that people will be proud of. Basic things, call for meetings, we can't call for basic meetings because of pettiness and self-ego and whatever it is that's going on. We can't allow that to go on. If nobody is going to talk with the voice of reason, we will have to. Because we are ultimately either the beneficiaries or the losers of whatever it is that this do. In the next 5, 10, 12, 15 years, most of these people that are parading themselves as leaders today will not be in the field again.
Okay, so let's talk about the leadership of your party.
Whether
then.
for good or for rot.
Right, so let's talk about the leadership of your party. You've talked about candidacy, but regarding leadership, because there's also a major issue around leadership of your party, is this whole jumping the queue scenario you painted, is it also applicable when it comes to the leadership of your party? Is that also irking you?
Yes, when you have a situation where people who are holding political offices, who are holding party positions, who are being nominated by governors because they were loyal to them, or by a certain structure because they are loyal to them, not because they have been loyal to the party, not because they have contributed in doing anything. Because to them, go to a lot of states, you see, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Go to a lot of states, you see in some states a legal advisor who is not a lawyer, you know, a youth leader who is not a youth, In fact, I heard, I don't know how true it is, that there's a woman leader who is a man. They just say it's a position because the Constitution did not define whether that the woman leader should be a woman. You know, because to them, it is just about holding that position so that the person becomes a delegate and he does their bidding when it is time for election. There are so many things that are wrong. And this Constitution has provided a way that we can do. We have issues with this Constitution. I personally have issues with some of the provisions of this Constitution. But that's not the case we're at right now. As it is, if it is fully complied with, most of these issues would not arise. From the first time we've started having problems, when some people took the party to court and took Adams Oshomole to court, for example, when the court suspended whatever it is, the motion or order they got, we had time, absolute time, to call for a NEC meeting, ratify a lot of decisions, call for a mini convention, ratify a lot of decisions, and move on so that it can stand on legal footing, you know, on a strong structure. But we didn't do that. Now, I have simple suggestions, for example. Like I said, we're going to have meetings with young stakeholders of the party. We're going to have a press conference. We're going to write letters to the caucuses of the party. Simple things. We should be having meetings. There should be mandatory meetings every 6 months that every person who is a member of this party, no matter how highly placed, will go to his ward and attend a mandatory meeting once in every 6 months. So, for example, just imagine President Muhammadu Buhari going to Sarkin Yare A ward in Daura local government in Katsina State to have meetings twice every year. And he will be face-to-face with party members at ward level. Or Adams Oshomole going to his ward every 6 months to have meetings. Do you think that the ward would have constituted itself and suspend him from the party if they see him on a regular basis? You know? Or all of us, the Senate, the President of the Senate, the Speaker, ministers, governors, everybody should be having a meeting with his ward level. Because this party belongs to the people, it does not belong to the leaders. The leaders were supposed to provide direction. But even that is beginning to look very, very doubtful if that is going to be done. But we're not going to allow this party to fail. Nobody is going to allow, we are not going to allow this party to fail. So things must be done. There should be a NEC meeting. There should be a mini convention once the protocols of NCDC or this coronavirus ends, God willing. And then we should have, as soon as possible, have these things. NEC meetings can be held via Zoom. It should be held, and these things should be dealt with. And then we allow the people who are in governance focus on the job of governing this country, dealing with the health crisis and the insecurity situation.
Let's just get a legal perspective on some of these things going on and see the possibility. Mr. Fred Nzako joins us. He's a legal practitioner. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Well, you know, there are those who are looking at all of these issues as they are playing out, and then they say, whoa, the court's playing a role. I don't know what adjectives, different adjectives to describe the role that the courts are playing. But from members who may just be wondering, these cases, from your perspective, do you think that they are cases that can quickly be resolved, or some of them could linger up until, who knows, 2023?
In the first instance, nobody should blame the court for playing a role. The courts have responsibilities to play a role of stabilization, a role of righting the wrongs, a role of attending to issues that are contentious, a role of coming to the safety of any institution or individual whose rights are being wronged or trampled upon. The court is there to attend to everybody. It is not only the leaders or the followers, everybody. And then if anybody does not approach the court does not give rulings or give orders. The court has to be first approached with issues before the court is activated. So it is not really the fault of the court to have activated what it has activated. But the natural thing that we should always ask is that after 21 years of civil democratic rule, have we not learned any lessons at all? Are we playing politics of development or politics of destruction of the conscience of the people? For how long will politicians continue to rub mud on the faces of the court to their best interest and against the welfare of the people? These are issues and questions that should be asked so that we begin to play politics of development and ensure that our country moves from the morass that it is experiencing today. Because what is going on and playing out in APC is a democratic morass, is jaundiced democracy. This is not democracy that we all yearned for in 1999. What we ask for is a democracy of development, a democracy that will bring everybody on board and move the country forward. And more so when APC has pledged to Nigerian people that it will bring the needed change that they yearn for in 2015. That change is not coming. Today, all we see is crisis. And such crisis has not allowed the party at the central level and even at the various states to deliver dividends of democracy that they were voted for. So we have to ask some relevant questions and demand answers. I have listened to my good friend over there and about his lamentations. These are genuine lamentations. And then by extension, it is not only limited to APC. These are lamentations of the polity, which we need to clean up. There is every need for a cleanup of the Nigerian political space to ensure that democracy takes a firm root towards the development of the country.
Could you just tell us in conclusion, I mean, from your professional perspective, do you see these cases being resolved sooner or it will be there for a while?
Well, the cases are not likely to be resolved sooner because there's a valid and subsisting judgment of a competent court which has handed over the chairmanship of the party to Victor Giadom for the next 2 weeks. And I do not think that there was a stay of execution of that order. So the order subsists. And APC, as an institution, as a political party, is bound to obey any valid order of court. This is a valid order of court. And then until the next 2 weeks, the resolution can only be political. And that is calling Victor Giadom to a round table and sitting him down to tutor him on the tenets and the issues relating to the party constitution. And if he says no or becomes recalcitrant, there's virtually little or nothing the party can do. The only court that can vanquish that is the Court of Appeal, because the court of the FCT High Court that gave that order has become functus officio. It can no longer validate the order by itself. That order can only be set aside by the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal is not only there for APC and at their beck and call. They have loads and loads of assignments and timetable that this will not even be easily be accommodated. And I can tell you that it is not a matter of urgent national importance, such that it can very easily sway the Court of Appeal to adjudicate immediately. So the only option that is left for APC is to take political solution to their problems and challenges.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for your thoughts, Fred Nzako, legal practitioner. Well, let's get back to Ismail and get his concluding thoughts. Well, you have talked about how you need to sort all of this out so that all the formers will not make the political party be referred to as a former political party. How do you, there are those who think that, look, as it stands now, this may likely cost the party the forthcoming elections in Edo. And with this court judgment now giving Giadom putting him in the saddle, how are you going to approach all of this? What's your thinking about the way to go with this?
I have mentioned it, you know. We have to have just practical, political, commonsensical solutions to this. You know, I understand sometimes politics can be petty. I understand it can be personal. I understand it can be local. But we will not allow pettiness and local thinking and self-aggrandizement and egoistical, whatever it is that these people have, destroy an institution that we hope to inherit. You know, and they can take their former this and former that and take it to wherever it is that they want to go to. But we have not been former this and former that. You know, we want to be current to this, we have 20, 30 years ahead God willing, in this game. And we want to be able to build a structure that we'll be very, very proud of. And so there has to be a commonsensical solutions to this. And they are very simple. I don't want to go into the legal arguments or whether this is right or this is
we'll
wrong.
let that go then.
I don't want to get into that legal argument. I am simply saying there should be a NEC meeting. It should be called immediately.
Okay.
That should be done immediately for every decision that has been taken in the interim to be either ratified or rejected. There should be a national convention, which is even constitutional, that should be done. And then we have 12 million members, and then the Constitution says that every 6 months there should be update of members. And then we can't just keep going on like that. So my simple conclusion is there must be a NEC meeting, and at some point there must be convention, and these issues must be tabled. Nothing should be swept under the carpet, and let's deal with it and move on.
Thank you very much indeed, Ismail Ahmed, member of the BOT of the APC.